Hi guys, 8:30 on the dot. We're not late. We are punctual out here. It's myself, Amondi Juma, and I'm joined by the wonderful Bath Time. And it says live transfer show, but it's a mix and match. We're going to go talk about several things today. So sit down and join us. Yo, Bath Time, how you doing, bro? Long time we haven't been together. We're a partnership out here. You've been neglecting me lately, but it's good to have you back on.
Yeah, no, it's great to be back on. Obviously I got subbed out last week, but and I'm devastated that Solo's not with us this evening, but maybe next week. I haven't neglected you, Monday. I've just neglected everything: diet, sleep. It's been absolutely fantastic, to be honest.
Because you're off at the moment. Obviously, it's pre-season or it's the mid-season break. So, what do you usually do during the mid-season break to sort of relax? Because you're all football throughout the season, aren't you?
Well, I take like 6 to 7 weeks off because, as anyone who does any running knows, you can't be running on heavy ground. You can't be running on hard ground. It absolutely does you in. Take 6 or 7 weeks off, and I mainly just do technical boxing training, which means that I'm never doing a spar again. It's me versus a punch bag, and I'm extremely happy.
Punch bag don't hit back.
Exactly. I got liver punched the first time I did a spar, and it turned out to be the last time I did one. I'm not built for it.
Yeah. So, do you have a boxing gym near you?
Yes, I do, it's really good. The guys in there are all nice and stuff, and they give you pointers. But I normally just go and work the bags, and I don't get involved in it after they tried to get me to fight a couple of summers ago.
That means when you go in there, if you're doing that, you don't want to get involved. You got to put on a mean face, like don't talk to me face when you're hitting the bag. Just walk around with your towel and your sweat bag and all that kind of thing.
I went in with a Britney t-shirt the other week.
Trust you.
Yeah, my workout t-shirt.
Hit me, baby, one more time.
Exactly.
Yeah. In the liver, if you don't mind.
No, I do mind.
All right, guess what? They're talking. Jeff's in the house, so he's obviously talking about Kazza and more. Obviously, you can watch that. We can watch that later. That's what we both be doing. We are Love Island fans, fiends. Bill Badger in the house as well. He's saying happy Friday. By the way, let me stop you. I did say happy birthday. Today is my brother's birthday. 38 years old today. Big up to Kahinde, Zico. Happy birthday to you. I love you so much. I remember there's 10 years between us. So when I was like 13, I used to go to high school and I used to think I was cool. But then my mum had to make me pick him up from nursery. So when we were coming back on the bus, all cool, with the girls, I had to sneak off and go pick him up from the nursery and walk him back, But then it helped me in a way because the girls seemed to love it. Felt it was quite cute. But yeah, when I think brothers and sisters should be 3 or 4 years apart if you have siblings. It's a big distance, 10 years. But it's only the last few years me and him got closer, playing football together, the same team. I'm so proud of him. He's done really well. He's a coach. He's going to go to Jamaica soon to live out there, to do teaching. And he's done university degree and everything. So Zico, Kahinde, I love you, man. Happy birthday. Moving on. Jeff saying hi to Bill. We got King Dino. Hi, King Dino. How you doing? Welcome. Stumpy Countertops in the house as well. And Jeff saying here, only hard ground is in Texas. That's just going to cause you injury, isn't it? That's why his back is screwed up. Oh, there you go. Get well soon, Jeff. King Dino saying he was an amateur boxer and I was young and fit. Big up, King Dino. I was an amateur boxer as well when I was from about 16, 17, 18. About 19, I think. I stopped. We were talking before the show, weren't we, about the liver shot. Yeah. And I was sparring once, and because I was tall back then. I've always been tall. They put me in with these guys that were man size, and I was still a boy really. And this guy was scary, and I was good, fit to keep him off, but he hit me with a liver shot, and I went down. It's the only time I went down. I felt so embarrassed. That's what sort of made me stop. So it's a tough sport for sure. Did you go down for the liver shot? Bath time?
Yeah, it was like it was about, we did like sort of 1 or 2 sessions, and I think that the coach just had enough of my yapping and put me down, and that was it for me.
So King Dino saying he stopped when he was 22 years old because of ACL injury. So you pushed on. You were really going for it then. If you were 22 and you continued with the boxing, you must be super fit, King Dino. And what weight are you? What weight were you sort of boxing at? And how many amateur fights did you have? Put that in the comments for us, please, if you don't mind.
Yeah, we like boxing.
Yeah, you like. I mean, we've talked boxing before, Bath Time. You like boxing, don't you?
I love it. It's the sweet science. It's the sport of kings.
I know I don't like to talk about these fights, but AJ's signed now to fight Dylan White. I don't know, and we've got Daniel Dubois is going to be fighting Usyk. Any thoughts on those fights?
Yeah, it just seems like an absolute waste. Like, when I was younger, we used to have this video in the house called like When We Were Kings, and it was like the Ali documentary, and it was brilliant. Absolutely amazing. And they had like these super fights back then, and now we just have like, imagine Man City refusing to play Inter in the Champions League final because they're scared, and things like this. I don't like where modern boxing is, and to be honest, I know everyone gets upset about the YouTubers and stuff like that, but what I'll say is they're getting people in the sport and they actually fight each other.
Yeah.
And I think it's a bit of a disgrace that AJ, Fury, are just not fighting anyone. Yeah. Like, it's just a waste, man.
Yeah.
This is the Man United agenda, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway.
Talking about boxing.
King Dino is a light heavyweight, 175 pounds. He had 57 fights. Big up, King Dino. Love to chat to you one day about boxing. We could do another podcast on it soon. Want to say hi to Given Losa. He's saying, can he call in, please? You can't call in, unfortunately. We don't have that sort of technology here. It's like, remember when they called the moon from the moon landing? We don't sort of have that technology, and they didn't have that back then, I'm sure. But you can always type in or come on the show one time if you like to talk to us. Big up to Matthew Bassett as well. And I used to love dropping someone with a liver shot, says King Dino. You just know they aren't beating the count. It's so true. It's the worst shot out there. Just takes your breath away. Big up
he was a count before he became the king. I quite like that. the European royalty route is taken.
Wow. All right, we're off the subject of boxing. We're talking today football, and we've got a couple of topics. First thing I just want to get out of the way is the transfer thing, because we talk about it all week. I don't want this show is going to be a little bit about transfers, but we're going to be talking to Bath Time about other things regarding football very soon. So Galatasaray are interested in Alanga and Telles. What do you think about Turkish football? Is it a good sort of Galatasaray, especially they're the top team in Turkey. It's very hot out there, but is it a good place to go for a pro like Telles coming to end his career and Alanga maybe at his age? What do you think about that deal?
Well, I think that the first thing with Turkish football is it's somewhere that I would like more of our young players to go on loan, because it is mental out there. You see like mid-level Premier League players getting signed and the airport being overran like that film World War Z. Like I'm a big fan of Turks. Like they're passionate people. They love their football, and like Graham Souness, when he was on sort of Sky would talk about players getting a bit carried away and stuff. I mean, I remember him running on the pitch and planting flags and things. Absolutely. I think, I have a huge soft spot for Alangi. We'll get into Alanga actually a bit later if we could get onto the topic. But Telleth, I mean, he's done nothing. He looked really good in his debut against PSG, but has done nothing since then. And I'd prefer us to sell these players like Telleth, but they're on too much money, and we're looking at loans. So I wish them the best of luck.
Okay, so given Losa saying, you just want to say that we love the manager. Why can't we trust him as well? We all know how United operates. He's doing his best with the limited tools that he's got. So is that the general consensus with fans to hear that we do love the manager that much? There's been no doubt about him, is there? Has there?
I have. All right. Do you want to get into it?
No, we're guys. This is a good comment. We're not going to lead on to that just yet. We're just going to finish off the other subject. But one thing Bath Time wants to talk about today is this topic here. I know a lot of you guys have faith in Ten Hag, and there's no question mark or doubt. But we're going to just dwell into that a little bit with bath time today and see what his
Yeah.
thoughts are on that subject, because it'll be very interesting. Hang around. Dance of the Devil saying, "Hey guys, sad news about Edwin van der Sar." Yeah, did you hear about this? He had
I did, and I'm so sorry for his family, and I hope that he comes through as someone that we'll recognise and stuff. He was a wonderful goalkeeper. He seemed to have been a wonderful man, and I'm sure that all our thoughts and prayers are with him. And there's nothing else I can really say about it. It's really sad and devastating.
get well soon. Hopefully he's in safe hands. He's getting well looked after right now. King Dino saying Turkey could be good for some young players. The intensity is insane. Yeah, do you remember when we went, because Galatasaray had a good team at one point, Hakan Suka, when we got back into Europe after the ban, and I think it was like a few years after that, we played Turkey, we played Galatasaray, yes. And Eric Cantona, he was greeted like, he was like, welcome to hell, I think that's
yeah. They had that big banner out. There's a famous picture of Paul Ince coming out where like he always used to come out last, and he had this shirt over his head. It was absolutely incredible scenes out there, and I always think that like Rangers and Celtic and the Greek League are where we want to send a few of our players on loan to deal with this pressure and stuff. You look at Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus crying at Anfield because they're just not used to these kind of intensive atmospheres. Well, they were crying. Like, they're crying more. The only one that's worse is Son at Tottenham, like, just crying non-stop. But I think that you need to get these players really into the mixer and like into football mad places so that they can deal with the pressure that's coming at that comes from being a Manchester United player.
And but why do you think Turkish clubs aren't really sort of being successful in Europe? Where are we lacking here? Is it finances, just talent not there? They love football, they love the game, don't they?
I've no idea. Yeah. I mean, my suspicions would be that they're too emotional in the same way that Liverpool were throughout the 90s and 2000s and Newcastle proved to be recently. They're too emotional, they don't have the resources, and maybe the quality of the player isn't quite as good as we think. But I'm interested in what the comments think.
Yeah, let us know, guys, what you think about Turkish football and why it haven't been successful, or anything else you want to throw out there. I'll just throw this out. I remember, I think it was 87, 88, England team under Bobby Robson. They beat Turkey 8-0. And with Turkey, rubbish, they're no good. But they have improved, I believe. The standard of play. We've seen a lot of quality players, individual players, come through, especially in the Premiership. Who was the midfielder from Blackburn?
Tugay.
He was a very good player, wasn't he?
He was absolute. He's one of the most underrated players in the Premier League ever, in my view. I was an enormous fan of Tugay.
Yeah.
And also, Turkey produced one of my favourite moments ever in international football, where they played Brazil.
Rivaldo.
And no, it was Denilson.
What happened?
6 of them chased Denilson around the pitch when he had the ball, and it's just a wonderful sight. It looks like one of them nature documentaries where a pack of hyenas are descending on a rabbit or something. It was absolutely wonderful. I'll post it on Twitter later.
Before we go into two things here. So Neil's saying yes, Erik ten Hag is the right man for the job. King Dino saying he's doing an amazing job with one arm tied behind his back as well. Just a lack of quality there. They're all head cases. There's Robbie Norman talking about the Turks. And
he said what I said, but with much more brevity. And as Shakespeare said, brevity is the soul of wit. So well done, Robbie. Good stuff.
Oh, God. Dance of the Devil say United should go for a straight swap with Greenwood and Hojlund. Not loan. Be a great bit of business, money for another position still. So, yeah, let's talk about this deal because Hojlund, we're obviously after him. I'm going to ask you what you think about him because I've never asked you before by half time. And Greenwood could be going the other way on a loan deal, which could be good and take some heat off him for a period of time. What do you think about this deal? Is it something that is like could actually happen? Do you reckon?
What, swapping Greenwood for Hojlund?
Or Greenwood going on a loan and as a make weight kind of thing, a good relationship, saying you can have this striker, so just in case you can't get anyone to fill Hojlund's boots, and then we can get Hojlund and get a deal done because obviously we're far apart at the moment with the price.
I'm not sure. I mean, like, I didn't like Greenwood as much as a footballer as everyone else did. I think we're all on the same page as a person. I think that we should be doing our best to maximise the money that we can get for Greenwood and get him out of the club. To be honest, because there's a lot there's issues in his game. He's a poor presser. He doesn't run hard enough. He's quite selfish. But the thing is when you compare him to Anthony, his ball striking quality. I mean, like Anthony doesn't have the requisite technical ability compared to Greenwood. Like you think of them in similar positions. With Anthony, it could go anywhere. Yeah. Everyone knows what he's trying, but it just can't do it a lot of the time. But I would like to see Greenwood gone, and even with a sort of clean criminal record or whatever, I didn't see enough from him to think that he was the man that was going to get us to the top.
That's good. I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people like to see players coming through the academy, and he was like the last great sort of player to come through. And a lot of people sort of, if you look at his game and think he was going to progress to be a world beater, So, his career's really dropped off. But anyway, what about Hojlund? Do you reckon, have you seen enough from him to suggest he could be a good signing for us? Because we seem to be blinkered with the focus on him at the moment, signing him.
Right. Well, look, I don't watch foreign leagues, but I have had a look at his stats, and I have watched a little bit of him today. I'm really not sure as a first team player. I mean, he's incredibly left-footed, which I always like, and he's big, which I like as well. I looked at where he scores goals from, and his average distance is 12 yards. Which I like as well, because that's in and around the penalty box. Yeah. He doesn't score a lot of goals, and he's also very poor at winning headers. So, I mean, he's got ability and stuff. He's like, we like our technical running. His arms are waving a little bit too much when he runs, for my liking. He's not nimble. He can't really turn. So, and all he is essentially a finisher. His link play doesn't look great to me. So basically, we got someone that needs to be polished up. Yeah. And I'm of the opinion that you shouldn't be learning at the job at Manchester United. You should be the finished or nearly finished article when you come in. So I'm slightly concerned about Hojlund.
So here, Dancer with the Devil says he's fast, especially for a big guy, and he can hold on the ball. So everyone's had a look at him, and we've got varying opinions, haven't we? Jeff's saying here, we're so spoiled here, getting all the leagues and matches. Just going back to the Turkey thing. So King Dino's saying Turkish clubs lack the money, so that's why they can't bring in top talent or hold on to top players. The best Turkish player he remembers is Emre. He turned out to be, he was done for a bit of racism, I think, wasn't he?
Oh, was he? He had a good left foot, though.
Yeah, great little player, great low centre of gravity, wasn't he? Robbie Norman's saying we played them in a playoff, and it was Ireland against Turkey, and the police attached Casemiro mad. Not Cascarino. So I do remember something about that. I can't remember Robbie though. Could you elaborate on the story? Do you know bath time?
No, but I know if it had been Casemiro, I'd have eaten them. Just running around like Shrek.
Brian's saying here there are so many leagues around Europe that are nowhere near the standard of the Premier League or La Liga. There's no money in those leagues to be able to compete, so that's probably why they're not winning.
Name names, Brian. Call out the Eredivisie and League One. Like,
go big up to Stephanie Griffiths. How you doing, Stephanie? I always think I see Stephanie Mills. Stephanie, yeah. Do we call this Steph? Can we call you Steph? Stephanie Griffiths. I always think that sounds like a famous person's name. I don't know why. Stephanie Mills or someone Griffiths from Dynasty, maybe.
Sounds like a long jumper to me. Stephanie Griffiths. I can see that, like someone at, the women's European athletics meet or something. Yeah. But less about.
King Dino saying he's got a lot of potential, Hojlund, but we would be relying on Rashford and Martial as our experienced strikers.
Oh.
What are you saying about, man?
I've just got so many doubts. I've got so many doubts, Amondi, about so much stuff that's going on at the club on a football level, not about Glazers and things. And when you see Martial and Rashford, who are both left wingers, really, I'm not sure.
Okay, here we go. Yes, Melanie Griffiths. That's who I was thinking of.
What, from Mermaid? From Splash?
No, that was Daryl Hannah, wasn't it? Melanie Griffiths is the one who speaks like that, who married Antonio Banderas, is it?
Ole.
Yeah, I can't remember what film she was in. 80s and 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. She really spoke like Marilyn Monroe, kind of sexy, husky kind of thing. Yeah. Anyway, it's 11 seconds. You run 100 meters in 11 seconds. That's not bad. Says Dancing with the Devil. Last one for me, Harry Maguire. Obviously, West Ham looking for him. Man United priced him at 50 million, but they reckon. I was reading the report today that 35 million is more realistic. I don't want to see Harry Maguire gone. I don't think we should sell him just yet because there's no centre backs coming in. I don't know if it's about getting signings to come in, but 50 million I think is fair. 35 million I think is, for what we paid for him. I don't think it's a good deal at all. Your thoughts on that, Harry Maguire? Whether we should sell him? Is his time done?
No, I mean, for me, look, his time might be done based off the rampant campaigns on social media where people think that defending in a high line is essentially just a race. I personally think that if we are to move Maguire on, it might be better to keep him for 6 months and show what he's like with a ball-playing goalkeeper, because Maguire looked extremely good with Henderson. They had a 75% win rate in the league. And I think that Harry Maguire might be a big beneficiary of a passing goalkeeper, because I can tell you that, all those agendas that start on Twitter, there's one coming about Varane and his passing. Like, it's not at the level to break the first line of pressure, and it's going to become an issue in the Champions League and in like elite level games. And whatever you say about Maguire's good on the ball.
Wow. The thing is, when you look back, you said this a long time ago about Varane bringing the ball out from the back and that kind of thing. You highlighted it, and it's true. When you really break it down, go and check out your tactical shows. You've got a point there.
Our tactical shows.
Yes. Okay. But it was your point, which you raised on our tactical show. Whatever. Sell Slabby, he's got to go, says Dance with the Devil.
Oh, God.
Or if he stays, he'll take that damn armband off him. So they don't want him to be captain either. Given lots of saying you guys didn't realise Rashi has the confidence now he can play as number 9. So maybe we don't need one. He's suggesting, I don't know. Here we go. It's a random one here. Hi to Jarley. He's saying here, Jarley, welcome to the channel, by the way. We stole the Arsenal doctor. He will keep Martial fit for the whole season. It's his personal doctor. Actually, I have no idea about this doctor, only that we kidnapped him.
Big up, Jarl. I'm a big fan of people who construct sort of jokes and stories in that way. That's really good. One thing that's interesting about the Arsenal doctor story is Liverpool. Lots of teams have tried to get him because about 2 seasons ago there was a move towards more AI instead of doctors. Like Liverpool fired their doctor and recruited a program called Skill Corner, I believe it's called. And everyone was going off data during COVID, and now they're going back to actually trained human beings. So I'm hoping that Martial might be able to stay fit, because we will need him with the state of our squad at the moment.
That's interesting. Yeah, doctors. I don't think we realise the importance of all these backup staff. It was a doctor at Real Madrid that kept Varane fit when he obviously had issues with injury, and he got him fit for maybe 2 seasons up until his move to Man United. So yeah, I think it's really important to sort of work one-to-one with a GP or a doctor, a specialist doctor. Nick Knack, how you doing? Said if Ten Hag rated Van Maguire, he wouldn't have put him on the bench all season. Yeah, fair enough. But I think we do need that squad sort of player there. And Maguire's problem, he's got 2 right feet and is slower than Snell. Also, he dodges out of heading duels.
I think that's a wind up.
Got to be a wind up. Yeah. Lastly. Before we come on to your subjects, really, I just want to say, talk about Onana. Onana's coming in. Have you seen enough of him now? The way he builds up the plays, passing. It's been erratic, don't you think?
No, I've seen him play once. Okay. And it was in the cup final, which is one of the highest, it's one of the certainly the highest point of club football. And he looked like he was a tiny little CDM. But Old Trafford eats goalkeepers. It's like we've had the standout successes of Van der Sar, go in peace, and Schmeichel, and we've had a lot of good goalkeepers come in and not been able to hack it. And with moving to a more possession-based build-up, with rotations and things. I hope that we stick with Onana as a fan base, because if you're paying that amount of money for a goalkeeper, like, he's going to be around 2 or 3 seasons regardless of what he does. So I'm a bit concerned about the lack of Premier League experience, the physicality of the league. Because if you got Martinez and Onana, like, regardless of how well Martinez did in the first season, you still fancy yourself up against someone who's under 5'8".
Yeah, very true. Bath time. We're going to come on to the point which I'm going to drop on you, because you've been frowning and worrying. Where we're worrying about a takeover deal, you've been discussing about Erik ten Hag and the football side of things. You've got a few concerns that no one else has really come out and said yet. But I really want to put you in the dock and grill you about this, Bath time.
Sure.
Ten Hag concerns. Where are you going with this, bro? Because the majority of people are loving Ten Hag right now. He's our saviour. He's got us from third. Let me just set this up for you, right? We've got coming to a team that's really poor. And this time last season, you've been part of the Man United agenda. You've been doing podcasts for a long time, talking football and talking sense a lot of the time, I believe. And you know where we've come from. You know what we've had to achieve. The first 2 games of the season, we were really poor. We've turned it around, become third in the league, and won a trophy as well in his first season, with players like Eriksen being injured for a long time, suspensions from Casemiro as well. He's really grinded away with players that maybe he doesn't want, and got himself into a top position. That's more you can ask, and I think he's overachieved based on those factors there. What is your concerns?
All right. I have a lot of concerns, to be perfectly honest.
Come on.
Well,
sorry, before you go, guys, make sure you give this Bath time a hard time.
Yeah.
But listen to his point first. You're in the dock. Yeah. What's your concerns with our manager? Come on.
Yeah, look, I'm just a little bathtub. I don't mind if people call me an idiot or disagree with my points. Don't worry about it. And this isn't for show. Right. My first concern is something that you actually mentioned there, where our biggest game of the season, in my mind, was Liverpool at home. It was the 3rd game, I think, after we'd lost to Brighton and Brentford. The right-hand side that started that game was Alanga, Dalot and McTominay. Those players performed in Ten Hag's biggest game, and all of them got phased out in the second half of the season. This is something that concerns me, because we started moving on, because after the Liverpool game, none of them really sort of came back in. Like, Alanga wasn't on the bench for 10 weeks or something. So I have an issue with Ten Hag's his social skills, his interpersonal skills. You look at that instant where 3 players that performed for him were sort of discarded after Christmas. You look at what happened with Ronaldo, right? And Ronaldo going the right thing, etc., etc. But Ronaldo, after being told he wasn't brought on against City out of respect, was allegedly subbed on as a time-wasting sub against Spurs in the next match. That is not how you treat an employee or something like that. That's poor. And then you've got De Gea. I want De Gea out of the club and stuff, but the handling of De Gea has been absolutely awful. And this isn't about the Glazers. This is on Ten Hag. He has the sign-off, as far as we understand, where it was arranged that Ten Hag, De Gea was offered a contract. He's going to be our goalkeeper next season, and then it was pulled at the last minute in the transfer window. And this, I have massive concerns about how you do this to a football club, and also I wonder about the people, I wonder about our players in the team, thinking you can't trust Ten Hag. I think he might be a liar. I'm
shocked. Objection or injection, as Vincent would say, Your Honour. I will step in right now. Guys, I want you to step in and throw some abuse here at Bath time. So basically you said your concerns are to do with the Liverpool home game. We played well. You had Alanga, Dalot and McTominay, and he kicked them to the curb after performing really well in the biggest game.
That's my first concern.
That's your first concern.
First concern is the treatment of the players, where he appears to be saying one thing and doing another, and I think that De Gea's had promises broken to him. I think that Ronaldo was treated poorly, and I think that those 3 players, that there should have been a bit more loyalty shown, especially to Alanga, who we didn't see him for months and weeks. And like, you know, you look at people like Maguire and McTominay were sort of squad players. I now have doubts about what Ten Hag is saying to them, because one week we're selling them, the next week we're not selling them. Like, that's a concern, is how he's handling the players in the squad is the first one.
All right, let me throw some audience questions to you.
Sure.
Nick Knack is saying tactics to get Ronaldo out, so he thinks that was orchestrated. But he's saying here, Ten Hag's the boss at the end of the day, and he got his third place. So in hindsight, you can say that was disgraceful interpersonal skills, but we still got the achieved on the football side of things. And when I did feel that you were going to talk more tactical side of things, but
I will.
Oh, you will. Oh, there's more to come. All right,
that's point one.
Okay, there's more to come then, guys. The De Gea treatment was a disgrace, says King Dino, and he probably wants to give Ten Hag a liver shot for that. Bill Badger is saying here, bath time, Ten Hag, like other managers, will use their own players over the ones he's inherited. So drop in Elanga and Max Source. I can see where he's coming from. Do you want to respond to that?
No. This isn't the point that I'm making. The point I'm making is that everything that has come out of the club since Ten Hag signed about players leads me to believe that he is managing them poorly. And he's saying one thing and doing another. Is my point.
Jim Mack saying here, Ollie had great interpersonal skills. I don't want great interpersonal skills. I want a manager with a plan who has respect of players. Eric Ten Hag ain't playing, so he don't care about all this thing that you're being sensitive about.
Ollie is finished. Yeah. Ollie is finished higher than Ten Hag, and he's played higher lines and so on. You talk about players respecting Ten Hag. This is kind of the point. Is that I wonder what our players think of Ten Hag. You can't tell me that the treatment of David De Gea is not something that is playing on every single person's mind there. Like, Rashford's contract's up in a year. Like, he can talk to clubs in January abroad. How's he going to trust anything that Eric Ten Hag tells him? Because he's seen actions, which is what happened to De Gea. This concerns me.
Wow. Grace, say hello to Grace. She's complaining about selling to Qatar. Nick Knack is saying here, but how much loyalty did Ronaldo show the club after?
Well, I mean, he went to training and work every day. I'm not saying that like Ronaldo was completely in the right, but he had a terrible life tragedy that I think should have been dealt with a lot better. And then like he got brought on in a display to humiliate him. And that's not just a legend of our club, that's a legend of the game. And Casemiro, Varane, they won't have been happy with that. They'll have seen that as disrespectful, as opposed to you don't mess with Ten Hag. They'll think, who is this guy?
How do you rule as a manager though? How do you rule? Do you rule with iron fist, or do you rule with a bit of fear? What's that saying you told me one time about helping to motivate players through fear?
Yeah. Or greed.
Fear or greed?
No, fear or greed is how I lump people into categories of where I deal with their motivation. When you look at motivators like sort of Klopp, for example, it's all about a collective, and it's all about it's about doing everything together. We don't have the leadership that you're all talking about is like authoritarian leadership, which is sort of what Ragnick tried. And I would say that like Fergie wasn't an authoritarian leader. I think it was more transformational with a hard edge. And I think that like when you get a manager coming from a little league, and I'm sorry, but a little club at Ajax, you have three little birds. Yeah. You have doubts about if they can step up to the stage, handle the big egos, handle all these things. And I think Ten Hag I'm going to rule it a failure. That David De Gea, Ronaldo, and those three players, Delot, McTominay, and Elanga, I'm going to rule that as a failure for me.
Big G saying here, footballers are contractors at the end of the day. It's in the name of the game, contracting work. God, they get paid a fortune. Who cares, he's saying. Stephanie's saying here, Ten Hag possibly just simply shows them who the boss is. That's what I believe. King Deer saying, you just have... Go on.
I just don't... like. Why do you need to show you're the boss? This is
because
like
you're managing millionaire, spoiled brat footballers.
Yeah, you motivate them. You get them to buy into it, and everyone works together as a team. You don't have someone on a power trip running around saying, "I'm the boss." You make him sound like a candidate on The Apprentice.
God. King Dino saying here, you just have to side with Ronaldo. You just side with Ronaldo over Erik ten Hag. Ronnie was not the only terrible on the pitch last season, but he was also a petulant child and clearly upsetting his teammates.
I
So
can agree with that.
yeah,
But it's the manner of how it was dealt with, not the fact it needed to be dealt with, is what I'm whinging about.
given Loso, so sorry. Make sure you come on the show. Give us a message, something you want to come on. He's saying the greatest managers of all time do this all the time. Sorry. Look at Fergie. I love De Gea, but time waits for no man. We need proper players. Jeff's saying here the problem is we don't know what he really says to the players, so we are speculating. That's your
So we go off his actions, which is what I've done, and they worry me.
Okay, that's true. Vincent saying here, yeah, it's been a disgrace how he's been treated, but Erik ten Hag doesn't do the contract at the end of the day. It's down to the Glazers.
Vincent, that is not what is being reported. This is nothing to do with like the Glazers. Like Erik ten Hag, as part of his contract, has a sign off on players getting a contract. He hasn't signed off on the deal that was offered to De Gea that originally he was fine with. It's nothing to do with the Glazers.
Shop Solution saying hates negativity. He thinks he will leave the chat. It's a theory. We're just exploring here. Stephanie saying here, Ten Hag was plugging leaks from United bathtub.
Okay.
And Bill Badger said also bath time. You say Ten Hag's been messing players around.
Mm-hmm.
What about the Glazers and the takeover? The club have been messing Ten Hag around as well, if not more. So there you go.
I don't care. This is nothing to do with the takeover, right? This is about how a man is managing a situation, right?
Okay. All right. This is carrot and sticks, says Stephanie. But sorry, I'm not going to read them all out. Jeff says Erik ten Hag doesn't have anything to do with the contracts. It's what he said in the interviews. And King Dino said, I think Erik ten Hag saw how the players threw several managers under the bus and felt the need to stamp the authority on the team and the club. Oh, wow. These are good comments coming through. Jim Mack saying David's treatment is down to the club, not Erik ten Hag. They tried to play out a contract game and went wrong. Erik ten Hag was clear from the start. David also sat on the contract for months as well. So you're getting a good argument here, Bath Time. Given Loso says, this season I've seen players run to death for the cause. Rashi loved the manager. He will sign. Knee-jerk reactions here as well. So let's just... Oh, sorry. Mr. B's in the house. Guys, don't forget, 10 o'clock tonight, Mr. B will be doing with Jeff as well. They're doing the takeaway, 10 p.m. So straight after this show, make sure you give time to have a little break and you go check out that show as well. It'll be brilliant tonight, especially with Jeff on as well. Mr. B saying, I can safely say I've disagreed with everything you said there, Bath Time.
That's fine.
Are you here to stir the pot, Bath Time? Is that what you're
No, it's I understand. These are just like my... Cheers, Neil. These are just sort of like my sort of concerns are building, and the second concern that I have is with Mason Mount.
Okay.
Right. I think that this is a great signing. I'm a big fan of all the stuff Mason Mount does, but it represents a real issue, like tactically in our squad, that I don't know how he's going to address, because for some technical things, right? Whether it's a 5-man press or a 7-man press, you have one line of pressure, which is your narrow front three. So for us, it would be Anthony, Rashford, and let's just say Martial. And then you have your 2 number 8s, which would be Eriksen and Bruno, picking up the pivot, right? This is just standard basic stuff that's been going on for years. Mason Mount has always played in the first line of pressure. We're signing someone to improve our press and our third phase play. But that means that when we're defending from the front, Mount has to go into the front three and one of those players has to drop in order to get the best out of Mason Mount. So out of our forward players, tell me the ones that you think are disciplined enough that will come into the centre of the pitch. They could maybe even to our defensive third and be able to play with intensity and passion and things, because I think we're going to waste one of Mason Mount's greatest abilities, which is a frontline presser, because to be honest, when he plays in the midfield, he overcommits a lot of the time, loses a lot of challenges and fouls a lot. So I'm concerned about where we're going to play him, basically, when we defend from the front.
Jeff saying here, has Bath had a manager like this? Is this his experience? Is he seeing coming out in Den Haag? Is it red flag City guard? Have you ever played with a manager that had sort of interpersonal skills and was managing a team like that? Poor interpersonal skills and all that. Have you?
Yeah, I have. I've played with. I mean, I don't really take a lot of heed of like managers and their motivational tactics, but lots of guys want to prove that they are the big man when I think like they're insecure about their position, and I've seen that in all walks of life, and I'm seeing it in Ten Hag at the moment.
So Nick Knack saying here, judge Mount at the end of the season. So your concerns here, just to summarise, you're saying it's an issue with tactically. How do we incorporate Mount into the side? Because you're saying we're missing out on the first line of pressure, which Mount is good at, where he's played in previous clubs. So would that be a positional change, or would you expect players to rotate for him, to compensate for him if he's going to be in that first line of pressure, and he maybe drop into midfield? Isn't that where rotations come in? Is that how you organise a good side?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, but the thing is that I've never seen it before. The one hope that I have is that there's still a plan for Harry Kane, because if Kane can drop deep and do that role, and he does it at Spurs, and Mount can get forward, so that is like, that's a caveat, which is that maybe that's coming. But it's what I think we're doing is we're doing a classic United move where we're signing a player and not putting him in a position on the pitch that gives his that lets him do what he does best. So when we sign Mount, if we use him as a right wing or a left wing, I'll be much happier than if we use him in the interior, because all of his best performances have come out on the right.
Yeah.
And I worry it's square.
You changed your tune a few weeks ago. You said it came from the left.
I know, but then I did some research. And
because I said it came from the right as well. I think it's going to help Anthony out by playing thing. But yeah, it's true. So that is a positive. So you showed a bit of balance here. That's really key. Just want to say hi to Damn United. He said, dude, talk to you, Bath Time. I think you need to have a little more faith in Eric. Gimme Losa saying the manager said he doesn't like boring football, no tick-tacker at Old Trafford. We'll be counter-pressing team.
That's my next issue.
Okay, go on. Yeah, lead on to that then. Go ahead.
We don't protect the middle of the pitch enough.
Okay, so we don't.
It's like actually no. I'll get on to the next point after we've done the comments. But someone said you need a bit more faith in Eric. Here,
we needed a manager to prove he's the big man. The players had too much player power at Man United. I think there's a lot of truth in that comment there. And Kane ain't coming to United, says Box. Hi Box, how you doing by the way? Grace, how you doing, Grace? Mount will go where Ericsson plays. Feels.
That's the problem.
Okay, we lead on. Let me just go through the comments quickly. If United sign Kane, that's a game changer, said Nick Knack. Bath time, it's not your concern, mate. Ten Hag is the coach, and he gets players he needs. Mount was his number one signing, so this is someone we haven't solved that puzzle yet. He knows what he wants in Mount. That's what Bill Badger is trying to say here. Listen to Bath Times make me sleepy. So boring and dreary, says Matthew Bassett. Matthew, go and order your kebab. It's Friday night. Neil saying here, sorry, never heard so much rubbish come out Bath Times bathroom's mouth. You're really stirring the pot tonight. But you make the thing with Bath Time, guys, you have to remember, this is why I like Bath Time a lot. He makes a point, but he can back it with evidence. Even if I don't agree with him, he will have some sort of reasoning why he believes that way. Attack football, says Given. Boxer saying we need Kane, but no chance we're going to get him. I want to say hi to Aldi. How you doing? Says, what do you think about Amrabat? I think he's really good. If United sign him, he can do anything when Casemiro is not in the squad somehow, someday. Amrabat, that's a player that we've been looking at. He's plays a bit deeper, doesn't he? But he's good ball retention. We've got come on to that anyway. He's like a bloody rain cloud tonight. That's you, Bill. You're being brutal, Bill and Matthew. That's Jeff. Check out Jeff obviously at 10 o'clock tonight. We definitely need Kane, but unfortunately we won't get him. So last time saying he's concerned, but if we do get Kane, his concern would be alleviated a little bit. Ericsson can only play for 60, 70 minutes, says Dance with the Devil. Bath time, says Damn United. Bath time is over, man. Pull the plug.
Nice.
I like these puns. Come on, Bath time. The transfer window doesn't shut until September the 1st. That's from Bill Badger as well. At least he's laughing at our comments.
Yeah, they're fun.
He doesn't take offence. Guys, let him have it, but he doesn't take offence at all. Do you, Bath time? I think Mount would play where Bruno plays, and Bruno will drop deeper. We saw a bit of that last season. That Bruno playing a bit deeper with his progression passes.
This is a problem, right?
Why? Explain why. Can we come in tactically now? Mason Mount,
tactically.
Right. Don't get the middle. Here we go. Yeah, where you going with this?
Right. This is a problem with the current squad and the targets that we're going for. Is that like what you're sort of talking about? I think to Emma and is it King Dino? Sorry, Vincent distracted me with his word soup. Is that you want Bruno to play as a sort of as a pivot, right? Bruno in the role of the pivot, right? There's many different things that happen, but you tend to have 3 stages of play where you have build up, progression, creativity. The progression stage is where you're getting all of your like tactical units up the pitch, your rest defense, like putting your 5 across. Bruno is not suited for that role of like high volume, short passing. And Casemiro needs legs around him. If you play Bruno, Mount and Casemiro just as that 3, there's not enough in the centre of the pitch to protect. Casemiro, even at international level, needs a helper. And if we are going to get a helper, it's got to come from left back or right back so that we can attack in a 3-2-5 and we can defend in a 4-1-4-1. This is why Stones and Zinchenko are like gold dust and have revolutionised how other teams play. And I am concerned with the signings that we're going for, that they appear to be scattergun and just sort of see whatever's happening instead of a cohesive plan. Because next season there's going to be issues with our team. We're not in as strong a position as we were last year. Okay. Like with the strength of the league and things.
Right, so last time, with everything you suggested here, what Box is asking here, what would be your ideal 11? Just run it quickly. And even if you don't know the player that we haven't got, what sort of type of player would you have to resolve these issues that you're presenting?
I don't know. I mean, we'd have a central striker. We'd have a left winger, a right winger, whatever. In the midfield, I would play Bruno, Mount, Casemiro, and...
That's what you just said you didn't want.
No. I said he needed someone. He needed to play the box. He needs someone with him. So you're looking at Shaw or Martinez has to come in there. If you put Martinez in, that means Shaw is basically playing at centre back all season. Yeah. And if you put Shaw in, the only real weaknesses we've seen from Martinez against Dan James, against Salah, against an Everton player I can't remember, is he's not very good. He's not as good as defending wide areas as he is defending central areas. And if you put Shaw in there, you miss all of the overlap and the nice work that he does with Sancho, Rashford and Martial. So I don't know who I'd put in there, because like Dalot and Wan-Bissaka are non-starters, and Varane non-starters.
So you want this box midfield that had been played by Arsenal and Man City?
Yeah, everyone.
Okay. I get that. I can see that. So we maybe need another player in there. Like I say, I think Martinez that's kind of makes sense to me. I was looking at Martinez's game. I was watching something earlier, and I realised Martinez is good on the ball, and he can play with his head up, and he can possibly play in the box, similar to what John Stones is doing at Man City. So that's a possibility, I would say. But guys, we're going to move on. What do you guys think about this? Obviously, clearly you've upset a lot of people here, Bath time, but I think you made some good points, and you made some points that sort of surprised me a little bit. I like the thing with me. I back the manager, and a lot of people say we've got to back the manager, and I'm sure you do, but you're just raising a little bit of a question mark. We want to see how we solve this puzzle.
Yeah, I'm concerned.
And how's Mount going to come into our system? We don't know yet. We haven't seen any games played. How is he going to play? I'm sure the manager's got a plan. Don't you agree? Don't you agree the manager's probably
I don't. Yeah, it's
yeah.
Maybe it's because of my lack of understanding, like sort of top level tactics and things. But I'm not calling for Ten Hag to be sacked. I'm just saying that as each week passes, I become more and more concerned. Like we've seen, like the Frankie De Jong obsession. We're seeing players that I don't think are Man United quality in Rasmus Hojlund being linked to the club. There seems to be like. We need a goalkeeper, a striker, and a midfielder, and that seems to be the sort of the main ones. But I think that Mount is the wrong style of midfielder to prioritise as a number one. I think we need a second phase specialist who's able to get us up the pitch, because we're all right in the final third. It's the other two phases.
Jim Mack is saying here, so this guy thinks through his crystal ball that Eric Ten Hag has got it all wrong. No, not really saying. We put him in the dock. He is defending himself quite well. Big up to Niall, by the way. How you doing, Niall? Bath Time, man. Have you played? I would say this. I think Bath Time is a top player. He has played at a very high level, guys. I know this for a fact. Grace is saying here, Martinez moved to midfield to create a double pivot with Casemiro, 3 defenders behind, the 2-8s pushed up, winger stay wide, a striker. Grace! That's the box.
But what's the problem? What's the problem there?
I like that, Grace. That's what Bath Time been saying. But yeah, that's
what's the problem? Because when we defend in the block, in the 4-1-4-1 block, Martinez cannot go and play central defence in that system. He has to go and play left back. And so you've got Shaw, who got eaten alive by Kane, and he did all right, like at centre back, but like Martinez isn't great in wide areas at defending because he just doesn't have a jeweler's legs. They're not long enough.
Half time. We're coming to the end now. I think just going to reel off some comments. Box is saying Bath Time knows his stuff. To be fair, I don't agree with him all of it though. Box. Oh my God, Bath Time. You better call Sol Goodman.
Cheers, Vincent.
King Dean saying I love Bruno as a number 10, but a few times he showed that he can be a quality player playing deeper. For sure. Dancing with the Devil saying, what's wrong with Matt Fred? 2 of the best players we've ever had. Emma's saying here, but Martinez have pushed into midfield all last season. Ten Hag likes movement. I think we'd be fine.
I disagree with Emma here. Like Martinez's greatest ability is his like on the ball is breaking lines, right? Martinez rarely sort of pushed into the midfield. He was high up the pitch, but he was always in the last line for me because of his ability to play inside and play balls inside and play balls outside.
Okay, here we go. So big up to Gia Vaughan Reed saying, "How is Bath telling Ten Hag how to play?" This is a football. We're just discussing our tactics and how we're going to go forward. It's good to sort of Damien and I said, Bath Time, we're forgetting that we're about to buy a new centre back who will sort all this out as well. Right, anyway, we're finished with that. Bath Time, you've been in the dock. I think it's been brilliant putting you on there on the in the dock and asking you fire away questions and ask you to defend yourself. And I think you've done really well. I think you're free to go. We will invite you back. We'll summons you next week for another session in the dock with another one of your queries. But I think you defend yourself really well. A couple of points I don't agree with. I think Mason Mount is still a puzzle that we need to solve where exactly he's going to play but we don't know. But I think the manager is really keen on him, so there must be a plan there somewhere. Let's just watch this space, guys. Last point, pre-season. You were asked about whether you play football. You do play football Bath Time. I know you're injured at the moment. I've been doing hill runs this week. We've got pre-season this Sunday. We're starting our training.
Hill runs.
Yeah, hill sprints. Really been pushing it. And that's why I've been off because I'm sick. I've really pushed myself too hard. But guys, we're talking about pre-season tips, drills, fitness, running, ball work, harmony. Man United starting their pre-season soon. You're starting your pre-season. I know you're a bit injured at the moment, but what's the goal with pre-season? What do you expect? What should the team be aiming to achieve? And obviously you'll be playing matches as well. My thing is this: I want to talk about the running side of things and running people ragging until they vomit. And all that. No. Are you a fan of that?
No. Like when I played out in Latin America, I turned up at for the pre-season expecting to run up the bloody Andes the way that we do in the UK, but they had a very different approach out there. Where for the first 2 days, it was mainly ball work. and not a huge amount of running, because over the years, they just like, because like the 10K that you've got to do in pre-season, lots of players had got injured, like with the amount of physicals that had gone into it. So it was like on the 10-day pre-seasons we used to do in Mendoza, day 5 was where everything was geared towards that being the day where you burn everything. But mainly it was about getting people's touch back, having a safe environment, working on things like the counter press and stuff like that in the morning, and then in the afternoon there was a fair bit of running, to be honest. But it was all different types of running. It was running backwards was the one that really shocked me, is that we used to have to do drills running backwards. Like, you're a defender, like you got to know how to run backwards, looking at the ball and things like that. And it was all about the different muscles that you were using, how much energy was there. We had like drinks, and we had some guy who was called Juan David, who used to try and monitor all of our energy intake and stuff, and it was really good. And then when I got back to England, it was hill runs. Nowhere near as good. Pre-season's about getting everyone together, getting the styles of play in place, and not worrying so much about the fitness, because match fitness is probably more important at the start.
So you agree? So you see the contrast when you're in South America, you come back home to England, and they're just running people ragged. Are they still doing that today, do you think? At the top level, running people ragged and doing like all these long 10K runs?
I don't know. I mean, like,
does it really help? I mean, what's his name? Conte was renowned for that. We saw
Conte Conte, yeah.
Conte, we saw players vomiting in the bucket with Harry Kane on his knees. Is that a good way to sort of get people fit? Has it proven to be a success? Because I think pre-season, my backup to that would be, I think pre-season would be about learning to play as a team, getting the boys back together, getting little small-sided games going, technique, touch, little set plays, patterns of play, that kind of thing, rather than running people ragged. Because I think, especially, I'm only Sunday league now, but I think I'm match fit. Even though I'm not fit now, I am match fit. I can get through a game, and I think I just want to have a bit more harmony with my teammates. So when we're starting our pre-season this Sunday, I don't want to be doing all this running. I'm doing my own running homework. I'm expected to be fit, so I'm doing my own running, my own time. But I'm going to pre-season to try to get some harmony with my fellow teammates and get us playing a good brand of football. And with the matches to come, we've got pre-season games, so we can incorporate that. Because last season, we were losing 12-3 to a team. We were all over the place. And because, we didn't really do a good pre-season. We were just running or doing stupid this and that. So when it came to playing, we were lost in a way. So I'm of the thought that running is not always going to help you. It's all about getting your team together and getting a harmony going with your teammates. That's what pre-season should really be about. And hopefully we see that with Man United, with the new players coming in. We've got Leeds on the 12th of July. Just want to go through a few comments because people are talking about that. Nick Knack saying 10K is nothing if you're fit, which is true. You jog every day, don't you, almost?
Jog? I run 6 kilometers every morning.
Okay. Pre-season is all about doing world tours, making money for the club, doing some snazzy photo opportunities, smiling, high-fiving on the training pitch, basically. Well done, Box. That's brilliant. We got Alex saying here, the biggest thing is for United to get the reps in to learn how they need to position when they're in different transitions on the pitch with and without the ball. So, I think it's about learning to play as a team. Tinkin Dino saying here, my feet can't deal with 10K. He's 38 years old. Bath time, you're starting to sound like a woke liberal, mate. And you also been compared to Simon Jordan, which is a compliment.
Really?
Okay. Grace is saying here, Martinez to do what John Stones has done this season by stepping into midfield in possession and then drop back into left centre back out of possession. But our wingers don't track back, and that worries her as well.
Stones isn't going to centre back though. That's the big difference.
Fitness should be something you always have, just in case of maintaining it. And Nick Knack also says hill runs is where you get your most returns. Yeah, I'm doing that at the moment. Let me just say this: I've been doing hill runs. I've taken the dogs up Horston Hill. I've been making little videos as well and doing my exercises up there as well. I've been off work for 2 days because it's the shock for me. I've only had a month or two off, but these hill runs are killing me, and my lungs are burning, and I feel really vulnerable. Like my immune system's gone down. So last couple of days, I've been really ill, really unwell, I'm weak, and I've been having to fill myself with lots of vitamin C and something because I feel I'm so close to sort of getting something vulnerable, like my vulnerable area here, my lungs and all that. Really struggling, but anything to add to the pre-season stuff there?
Yeah, the thing with the pre-season stuff is that, like, I like the idea of seeing running as homework because, like, when you're on the pitch with the lads and stuff, that you want to be like doing the tactical stuff and working on things. Whether it's, I'd much prefer to spend 15 minutes working on throw-ins than I would to be running up a hill, like most people as well. But with Conte and hill runs and things, I think a lot of that is to do with mentality. Where if you have like we bottled the league my first season in Chile, and then we won it the next one. And the manager basically, when we got back to pre-season on day 5, we thought we were doing 12k, and we ended up doing 16k, which I really enjoyed, but no one else did. In order to try and, like, you need to find that something that keeps you going. And if you're out with the dogs running up a hill, I don't think you need to find that for yourself because it's about the team and things. You just need to get up to that standard. And I also think that different running exercises, 15-yard sprints, shuttle runs, running backwards, are all as important as the long distance one. But remember that Barry used to, like, our friend from Doncaster Rovers, like he was talking about the runs he had to do when he was on YTS forms. Yeah, and stuff like that. So it's part of the game and it's team bonding. But I'd prefer to bond on the pitch over doing like tactical work than running. But I do running all the time, so I don't know.
So basically, you're supposed to be fit. It's just the other stuff when you come in. It's about learning to play as a team. Hopefully, that's how it is. Grace, you're asking a good question here. How would you set up with a 3-2-5 next week? Hopefully, we go into that bath time.
I prefer 3-2-5 to 2-3-5 because there's more angles. Yeah, everyone is giving me a jip this evening, but to get it over and enjoying a 16k is a new one for me. I love running; it's my favourite time.
All right, so we talked pre-season today. We talked about Ten Hag's concern when we put bath time in the dock. That was hilarious. Yeah. I'm sorry, mate. You can take it. And transfer updates as well. Brilliant show, man. Guys, I haven't begged anyone to press the like button, but it does help us if you do press the like button for us. Last 2 comments from me. Nick Nack saying here, the key is mixing it up. That's where interval training comes in. You can do the fitness training in 10 hours a week. Plenty of time for technique and tactics. And big up to Across the Pond. How you doing? He says, Jesus OMONDI, my Yorkie Terrier, Mario, 10 pounds, of Stone Cold Killer. He took down a crow. Wow. And then killed a mag. Wow. He's a bird dog as well. Always knew he hated Newcastle, but that's crazy. Big up to you guys, man. Anyway, we're going to sign out now. Bath time. Any last word? What are you doing for this weekend? You watching any tennis, Wimbledon, or
no
Formula One, or any kind of US Trials Athletics? What are you going to do?
You know what I'm watching?
Oh God, tonight, yeah.
Yeah, I'm watching Love Island, and I might go and watch Indiana Jones, but I heard it's rubbish. But mainly, I'll be fretting about Manchester United. But thanks for having me on. It's been lovely, and I'm sorry if having a different opinion upsets people and things. But it's just a concern that I have, and I know it's not one that everyone else has, which is why I asked Monday to alleviate my concerns, and I'm still concerned.
Top shows in Matthew Bassett. The Ashes, that's going on at the moment. I think they're doing terrible, playing a bit wild. Ben Stokes. I mean, Test match supposed to be considered and slow and take your time, but Ben Stokes is playing a style of Test match cricket I'm not keen with. Great shows, says Dino.
Gegenpress. Gegentest.
And thanks to everyone who's tuned in, by the way. Nick Nack is saying here, thanks for reading out our comments. Bath time, it's important to read out comments, isn't it?
It's very important. It's also important to be on time. I'm so glad you've said that, Nick Nack. So I've told the boys off this week about not reading enough comments, and I always want to know people in chat are saying, and I'm sure if you write to the agenda on Twitter or something, you can come on and call me an idiot, like with your voice.
Just a couple more things before we sign out. King Dino saying he's going to watch Spider-Man with his son. On the 2nd of June is my son's birthday, turned 13. He loves Spider-Man, the animated one, the multiverse thing. I'm waiting for it to come out on my Fire Stick, but he went to the cinema for his birthday, so I've got to watch it with him the next time I see him. Also, this is massive. I don't know if you've been watching under 21s, but across the pond saying here tomorrow, a watch along for England versus Spain. Lee Carsley done a brilliant job. We've got Curtis Jones and Angel Gomez in the pivot. They've been doing brilliantly, press resistant. Southgate, better watch out. No excuses. This is on English TV as well. Guys, make sure you tune into that. That would be the highlight of my weekend, actually. Have you been watching the under-21s? Seen anything special from them? I thought they'd been brilliant.
No, I'm not a great follower of international football, like with the England team and stuff. But one thing I have seen is that apparently United, for the first time in living memory, have no players in any of the big under-21 matches.
We got Garner's playing right back. Not Joel Garner. That's a Barbados fast bowler. What's his name? Garner. He just went to Nottingham Forest. He went to Everton, didn't he?
He's not our player.
Back. Yeah, he's gone to right back, and Angel Gomez is there as well.
Not our player.
Yeah, the two players that we were our players at one point as well. Guys, we're going to sign out. Appreciate all of you. Make sure you tune in at 10 p.m. with Jeff and Mr. B and guest Anthony Herbert as well. It'll be a bit more light-hearted, fun and games as well. 10 p.m. tonight on the Man United Agenda. We're signing out. Bath time. Thank you so much. Everyone have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you at 10 p.m. Bye-bye.